Cindy Brown from Brevard County, Coral from Miami-Dade College, Christina Urena from Atlantic Technical College, and Pamela Jo Wilson from Palm Beach County Department of Community Education. These wonderful women have been part of a larger cohort of 12 trainers, and today they will be reviewing the rationale for contextualizing English language instruction for work and career pathways. They'll provide access to support materials that are part of the Links ESL project, and share strategies and tasks that develop learners' employability skills, career awareness. Oh, I actually have this wonderful highlight that I should be doing. Career awareness while simultaneously strengthening their language skills. We'll be discussing how site-based learning communities support the contextualized instruction. One of the things that I think many of you may have experienced, having been the part one of this webinar, is the rationale for contextualizing ESOL for work and career pathways. The research shows that a third of the 35 million low-skilled adults in the US are immigrants, and that most jobs paying a family-sustaining wage require some post-secondary education. So we know that in order for our learners to get into those family-sustaining jobs, we need to need post-secondary education skills. They're not going to be able to transition into career training or into community college content classes or into workplace training. They don't have the skills. They need to acquire strong basic skills and employability skills, and that's what contextualization is all about. In addition, we know that they can move further faster in career pathways programs. We can't ask our learners to wait for 5 years before they can transition. The bridge programs and integrated basics education and training skills programs, those programs, we need to start building those skills for the learners earlier than we have previously. Oops. And one of the motivations for this type of career pathways contextualization work that we're doing in ESOL is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or WIOA. And we have a guest speaker whose voice I am taking for today. Zelda wanted us to hear this information about WIOA. The Florida Department of Education will continue to support the development and implementation of career pathways through Florida's integrated career and academic system. That's the FICAP system. In a few weeks, the RF and RFP will be posted on the Florida Department of Ed website for the purpose of funding up to 27 programs at $25,000 each. There will also be an RFP specifically for ESOL with 5 grants at $25,000 each. Applicants will be able to plan, design, and implement an integrated education and training program that includes enrolling in either GED integrated or LCATE course simultaneously with the career and technical certificate program. And more details on that are coming soon. So what the trainers on this ESL Pro project that I'll be describing in a moment, what they've been doing is laying the groundwork for the contextualization of ESOL that will support what Zelda is speaking about here. I always think it's really great to take a moment and think about what we used to think being an auto mechanic required. A good high school education, maybe with a vocational class or 2. But if we look at what really is happening in the automobile industry, we know that automobile mechanics are now IT specialists and must be able to work with integrated vehicle systems that we can't even imagine in 2016. So the relevance of contextualizing ESOL for work and career pathways could not be more clear in the 21st century. And the Florida Links ESL Pro project took that on. Oops. The idea being that contextualizing ESOL for work and career pathways is a shift that the entire state will be making. And we're starting small by working with the background in education and the infusion of these concepts into different sites and with different communities of teachers. So in a nutshell, this is what ESL Pro is, and I can tell you that Florida is one of 10 states that was selected, and you can be very proud of the trainers and the communities of practice that have been working on this. The resources, that referred to OVE, which was when this project began. It was called Office of Vocational Adult Education, but now it's OCTE. And you will be receiving through IPDAY the links to these materials. We focused on the third one here, preparing English learners for work and career pathways. But within each of these suites of materials are training modules, research briefs, and e-magazines with lots and lots of ideas on how to bring these concepts to fruition in your classroom. Just to make it clear what's happening with ESL Pro in Florida, Florida is one of 10 states in the pilot. It has 10 trainers from 5 regions and 2 adjunct trainers. Those trainers created 7 site-based communities, or COPs. They've held face-to-face meetings and online discussions, made use of the ESL Pro materials, and each of them will be speaking to some degree about how that's happened. This is a picture of the bevy of beautiful people, and a few of the people are not able to join us today, but I know they really wanted to, and some of them are actually on the participant list. Jennifer, Tricia, Katie, Catherine, Selena, Veronica, Roxana, and Joycelyn are not here, but I wanted to give you a quick view of, this is Veronica and Veronica and Selena's group out of Miami-Dade, and this is an example of the face-to-face work that they were doing, I believe a jigsaw. And this is Roxana's Zoom meeting, and I just wanted to give you an idea of how much PD is changing across the United States. This Zoom meeting has attendees coming in from their cars, from outside the school, from inside their homes. So we're making use of increasing our digital literacy and our technology skills is a 21st century must-have. So without further ado, I'm going to be introducing Cindy Brown, who will be speaking, our first panelist who will be speaking, and she'll be speaking about the tasks, instructional strategies, and reflections that have occurred through her work with the ESL Pro project.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here, so I want to say that first. I'm very excited. I've been working with Jennifer Maxwell from Daytona State College, and Jennifer had hoped to be here today, but she had some family emergency and was not able to be with us. But when we became involved in this, for and I, because we are in very close proximity to one another, got together face to face and sat down and wanted to plan out how we would bring Arthur. So as an introduction, I have a little PowerPoint I show. It's very, very brief, but it just gives a little bit of background, and I'm hoping with the technology that I'm okay with this. So I'm not seeing it. Okay. You aren't seeing it either, are you? No. Okay.
We're seeing it now, Cindy.
Oh, can you see it? Okay. And you can see the whole thing, or?
Yes, there you go.
Oh, you can see it? Okay, I'm sorry. Because my screen, when it popped up, it went black. So all I see is black screen.
Right now it is black, Cindy. Go back. You had it before.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I've already had that issue, so.
When I click on from beginning, it goes black. So can we leave it as is?
Leave it as is. We're fine. We're all cool with that, right? Everybody raise your hand if you're cool with it.
I'm so happy. Okay, so our group is the Oleander Group. We're a partnership, again, between Brevard County ESOL and the Daytona State College ESOL. As I said, Jennifer and I met together, and then we were able to bring our teacher together as a group. As a background, we had them, before we got together, we had them do the we had them enter the website, and we had them enter IPDAY website. We got them together and we talked about the program as a whole, what we hoped to do, and hoping that this would be a lasting partnership. So we took 4 teachers from our group in Brevard, and Jennifer had 4 teachers from Daytona State. The first time that we met was sort of an instant bonding, and it was very positive. Everybody was excited about the project, and they were just excited to be able to have other people to share. So when we left there, they were all instructed on how to get onto IPDAY and continue sharing with one another. As it turned out, we were able to do 2 face-to-face meetings, and again, it was very positive, and there was a lot of good sharing of best practices. For today, I have Jennifer and I got together, and we came up with a lesson plan that we would like to share and put on the webinar so that you can add to it later and maybe use it in your own classrooms. It's on health sciences, and it's on all of the different areas of careers that are in the health field. So I'm going to try to show you our a little lesson plan here. Hopefully it'll pop up to where you can see it. And let's see. So is it there?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so this is a lesson plan on health occupants, and as Jamie was saying earlier, we want to be sure that our students can get out into the work field as quickly as possible. So the health career sites have so much to offer. We thought that would be something that we could share in our different classrooms. So this one particular lesson plan starts with the different areas, diagnostic services, and I'm just going to scroll through therapeutic services, support, all of the medical field, the support areas that a person could be interested in, and then just general health information. This lesson plan, I'm just scrolling, and you can come back in when you have time and go through it and decide if this is something that you can use in your classroom. We have different materials. We started with a health sciences book that you can access online, and we have the websites available. There are different, there's an assessment for writing, there are activities, there are lessons within here that I don't want to go over every one of them, but there's a, for instance, here is a word search that has contextualized vocabulary for the healthcare field. There is a another little activity that's a matching, excuse me, that has a matching activity, and it's all in here. And if you would like to email or contact us afterwards, we'd be more than happy to share that with you. But in closing, I don't want to say too much or go on too long, but this was a wonderfully positive experience between our 2 counties, between our 8 teachers. I think that it's going to end up being something that will continue to benefit our students as we share lessons, as we share ideas, and hopefully before end of our time together, we can meet, our teachers can meet again as a follow-up and share how well their lessons have gone since we've been able to share and discuss. So if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. And hopefully that gives you a little idea of what the two of us did in Daytona and Brevard.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you.
We're going to we have to for any questions on, and I wrote in the chat that all the materials that you see here to be available to accompany the webinar recording. Okay, let's move on to Coral then. I see no questions coming up, but you can be ruminating if you like. So allow me to introduce Coral Horton from, I'm going to say the college wrong because I don't have it up in front of me. So Coral, I'll let you say what.
Okay, I'll do that. Today I would like to share this PowerPoint with you that will describe some of the things that we have been doing. Let's see, it works and mine doesn't go black. Oh, mine's doing the same thing. There we go. Okay, so we are in Miami, and this is where each of us was given a name of a flower as a group name. So we're the Ponciana group, and this is my group. This is me and the teachers that I'm working with. Who are we? I am the program manager of adult education, and this is a group of experienced teachers that are working with me. Where are we? We're at the Kendall campus of Miami-Dade College. There you go, Jamie. And we're in Miami-Dade County. At this campus, which is a very large campus, we enroll approximately 500 students every 8 weeks. It's an 8-week term. And many of our students at this particular campus are professionals who have university degrees, and some young people who are up and coming. What we have been doing, like others, has been to look at the various resources that were given to us through IPDA and links, and then began developing some contextualized lessons. We're at the beginning stages of that. Okay, our first project, I'm going to run through a few different lessons with you that we did here, or that we're preparing here. Some have been done, some are in the process. Okay, so this one is one that's in the process, and this is being done with a high intermediate level 5 for us. The first thing that the teacher is doing is talking about your various jobs that you might do and what you like about them. And one of the things that we saw was that students sometimes came with degrees and professional experience, but those won't work in this country the same way because qualifications are different. So I show a video about physical therapy or vet tech or something that's not the same requirements. They reviewed vocabulary related to degrees and accreditation and those types of things, and career information. And then the students went to the lab. We're lucky enough to have a lab available that they go to approximately once a week, and they were able to look at career information. The teacher first, of course, told them where to go and gave them some samples. These were the types of questions that they were looking for, and what they did was they formed groups of students who were interested in similar fields, and then they examined the answers to these questions. Once they answer these questions, each of the groups will go back together and formulate a presentation. The presentation can be in various formats. It could be a poster board, it could be PowerPoint, it could be a discussion and some other activity. And here, one of the things I wanted to mention in number 7 here, one of the things we have to make sure we explain to the students here, because this is a college and they're transitioning into lots of different places within the county, is that we have a lot of little schools that are not accredited in South Dade, and they can lose a lot of money and a lot of time if they were to take those classes, so we kind of steer those away from them. Our next activity here is called interviewing and questioning techniques. Initially, there was some reluctance on the part of some teachers to explore the concept of contextualization for lower level students. So I chose this lesson because it was specifically designed for foundations and low beginning students. These are the various competencies in Florida that we were looking at for the lesson. So this is a lesson that has to do about teaching people questioning techniques, teaching them the verb to be, because this is the lowest level. So the students saw questions in video and audio samples. They worked in the mixed level groups, and they formed their own questions with to be and other questions. They used those, and they did homework. The second day, the teacher reviewed the homework. She saw that some of the students used questions that may be inappropriate or not legal to ask in an interview situation. So she created a reading that they then used the next day. The students watched a short video clip and wrote the questions that they heard in the video. This allowed them to practice listening as well as writing and practice their ability to do the questions. Now, I don't know how many of you have used exit tickets, but this is a good little summary activity at the end of a lesson or day where the students used cards and they wrote a question on a card and gave that to the teacher as they left the room. So that's their exit ticket. And then the teacher reviewed the cards, and the next day she was able to see again that there were still some issues in how they wrote the questions. So she had them use this handout, which has to do with statements versus questions and understanding the difference and what the rule is to create those. So then the class looked at a review of their interview questions. They talked about the allowable questions that you can use in an interview, and then students grouped in pairs based on their career interest to practice interview questions together. Now, this type of a lesson was designed for foundations and low beginning, but you can certainly extend this for level classes by using more vocabulary, by using other videos and more detailed questions, or by doing mock interviews. All right, now this picture is not a career fair. It is not a job fair. It's a business fair. Now, what is a business fair? This lesson was designed for high, intermediate, and advanced level students, and it was able to cover a broad range of competencies. When the students arrive in this country, many of the students here are unable to find employment initially. So some of them have begun their own businesses. So this unit was designed so that the students could showcase those small businesses and teach other people about the process of small businesses as well as the vocabulary for creating that business. So they discussed this, as I said, these two levels together. They came together specifically for this purpose, for this activity, and they created a community of many business owners, all the people that had these small businesses. Now, they were very lucky that in this situation, they had a graphic artist within the class, and he taught the members of the class how to create business cards to advertise. And then all of them discussed their businesses and wares, and they created little presentations about their business. People who weren't business owners were learning business vocabulary by helping their peers prepare for presentations. The business owners that were attending the class created a business boulevard in one of the classrooms. So that wasn't a picture that you saw of this particular activity, but it was similar. It was in one of the classrooms, and they had a number of booths set up, and the students who came from other classes could go in and see the various businesses that were being offered. In this particular one, there was a aromatic candle seller, a makeup artist, a mobile car wash, a young lady with a dog bathing business, a manicurist, a cookie maker, and a tax preparer. So this activity allowed many of these students to learn about networking, marketing, and strategies for building a business. For the very first time, they were exposed to this concept that they could themselves create their own business. And in the process, they learned a lot of business vocabulary. So one of the things that we did at this college as part of this was to have a survey made for our students who were upper level students. In this case, it was the levels 5, 6, and 7, I believe, which would be high, intermediate, advanced, and college and career readiness. And they were asked about what types of careers they were interested in. And the major areas of interest were business, health-related occupations, and computer technology. So then we also looked at what the research locally was telling us from the business areas, that they were needing people with more problem-solving and communication skills. So in addition to our career exploration emphasis, we decided to focus a little bit on solving skills. So this last example is a business-related lesson, and it's a problem solving. So it was made for college and career readiness class, our upper level, and it addressed these competencies. Now, in this picture, you see a line, and a lot of people who don't look happy about the line. In this particular scenario, you're imagining that you're a front desk receptionist at a hotel. Hospitality is a very big business around here, as we all know. In the last 3 weekends, you've seen that there are very long lines for check-in at the hotel, but the number of guests is the same as it was the month before. So you're wondering why that is, because you are expecting that the customers are looking like the people in this line and are not really very happy about the line. So you bring this fact to the attention of the manager, and he sets up a problem-solving meeting. So first, of course, the class discusses the importance of problem-solving in the workplace, and that it will occur in almost every workplace, that you will need that skill. So then the students were shown a TED Talk. It's a really great TED Talk. It's called Got a Wicked Problem? First, tell me how to make toast. So if you haven't seen this, you should check this one out. The teacher breaks the class into groups and gives group different colored sticky notes. So one group will have one color, the next group will have a different color. And then the groups brainstorm what they think the possible causes of are and what they think the steps are, and they follow the steps from this activity. And then they place their sticky notes on the wall to show various steps or processes or problems that they think they can solve, how they think it can be solved. So then the groups each walk around and look at their various other groups' decisions. And from there, they come together, take sticky notes off, move them around until they can coalesce into an agreement as to what the steps are of how they're going to examine the problem, determine if it's a problem, and determine how they're going to possibly solve the problem. And finally, of course, the teacher reviews the process and the solution is generated. So those are examples of some of the things that we have been working on. As I said, we were focusing on examining different careers and how to get students into those careers, and also beginning to look at problem solving. So I hope you've enjoyed those, and now I can turn this over to the next presenter. Thank you.
We need to have a round of applause. We should be each panelist. In some of the platforms, they have a place for that. Well, there was one question that came up from Patrick Brown, and he asked if the lessons plans are part of a larger career readiness exploration unit, or are they integrated throughout the curriculum alongside? Oops, I think you're muted, Coral. Wait a second. Let's unmute you.
Okay. No, they're integrated. And as are in the process, and some have been done. And since they're all at different levels, really are not part of one unit. So they're all different. They're all different unit at different levels.
And I would like to ask if there are any other questions. One of the questions to the participants is, can you see the potential for taking some of these and shift? So for example, the business community, the business, small business concept that we could start introducing at a lower level. Although this particular lesson is geared for something higher. Kind of thing that we want to be thinking about all the way through, because in our our culture, we tend, our ESOL culture, we tend to put a lot of things levels. And there are ways, as Coral demonstrated, to bring things down to a lower level, to get creative and make toast, as Coral mentioned. So any other question you want to pose to Coral? Okay, I think me then to Christina, who I will unmute. Go, Christina.
Hello, everyone, and this is Christina Lechze from Broward County Atlantic Technical College. I share my presentation. Hope you can all see it. Okay, can you all see that? Can you see it, Jamie? I cannot hear you, Jamie. I guess you muted. But anyway.
Yes, Christina.
I see your face. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, it's hard going after Coral. Okay, Coral, you got it. I love your presentation. Okay, what I'm going to talk about today is a few things that we have done. First of all, we do have an ECOP, Community of Practice, also here in Broward County, and it's called, our room is the Gardenia Room. And I work together with the person who's now with us in spirit, as she said, Katie Solly, and at the bottom you can see a picture of us. Okay, and we have a large group. We have, including us, it's about 21 to 22 participants. I think it's 18 teachers in total. And of course, we work already at a technical college, so might be easier for us, transitioning our students. We do have a bridge program here. But in this group, we're talking about to all levels of ESOL instructors. So we have from foundations to advanced. And one of the things that we did that I love was we had a little game. And as you can see on my screen here, there's some M&Ms. So we created labels with some of our CT courses and then put it at some M&Ms, put them on a bag, and then the teachers have to go and pick one chocolate, one little packet, and then whatever career was on the back of the M&M, they have to go and communicate with that CT instructor through email, face-to-face, or phone call, whichever way they want it, and ask them, what can I do to prepare the ESOL student who will be going to your classes? And I'm going to show you how the wording of the question went. So that was that. And let me go to the next slide, then I'll come back. But here's the question from the post. I'm not going to read it to you. You can all read it. They told me you don't read from a PowerPoint. Okay, and you can, like I say, they can call. They could have called, meet them face-to-face. And here is an actual post of somebody who met with one of the teachers, and it says success at the top. And here's another one. Everything was great. We had good communication. With the result of those meetings, they were to write a lesson plan to share. I don't have any specific one to share on this presentation, but it will be on the IFDA website as part of our resources. So I don't know, Jamie, maybe you can answer that, or June, if all of the resources we put in there will be shared with the general, with the whole state in the future. Thank you, Jamie saying yes. Okay, so you will have access to the lessons that we have created. So that's that. The other thing is we attended a Burlington English Career Extension training, all the teachers on our group. And at this campus, we have an ESOL activity calendar where the students noticed that a lot of students were kind of leaving early in the afternoon because of the long day. We have 6-hour classes. So we have activities sometimes once a week, sometimes twice a week, from 1 to 2:30. So what we're going to do is during that time, I did a survey of our students and what career they interested, what the interest is. And then we're going to group them by whatever career they chose, and we're going to have during that 1 to 2 study, we're going to do one of the career extensions career from Burlington, because they already made, they already have the teacher materials and everything that you need. All you have to do is kind of facilitate it. So to start, that's what we are doing. We're going to be using that during that time. So that take care of it. Another thing is just today, woohoo! Before coming to this training, I have taken our students on a tour of our CT programs at the main campus. And here's some pictures. These are just from today. And so as you can see, we visit the audit department, we visit the construction department, and the culinary arts department. And one thing that I noticed was that sometimes students, believe it or not, even though they're adults, they're not like sure of what they really want. So going there, it was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And then started coming, oh, I used to like how to cook, but now I really want to be into this program. And the fact that most of our program, are short, that you can do them like in 1 year, they were like, wow, I can come and do this, and in 1 year, I can have a career. This is great. So, and going there on the bus, it was just like regular bus talk, like drama and this and that, and I'm hungry, whatever. But coming back, I moved around the bus, and everybody was talking about the programs and what they like about it and what they want to do. And like I said, our ESOL teachers are already communicating with the teachers from these programs to know how we can help the students before they get there. We also had a tour of local colleges that we are going back into doing, because we didn't do it for a while, but we had that in the past. We also had a Adult Career Pathway Student Summit, and I'm sharing some topics that were shared there, and we had like what go technical, because we're a technical school, residency matters, and Florida tuition law for immigrants, and we brought somebody from Immigrant Coalition, and they talked to our students. We talk about the benefits of industry certification, employability skills, and we brought a company who does evaluation of foreign transfer, because a lot of our students come with high school diploma already, and they don't know that they are good in this country. You just have to have evaluated to see if it's good. So they don't think they'll have to go to GD. And here's a picture of that day. We also had ABE and GD students there, not just ESOL, but we had 400 students. And, we took the ESOL students and we had somebody translate for the lower levels. We had the lower levels going to a different room for the evaluation of foreign transcript and for the residency people. This is also something that we have done, and I still use it, but we're going to try to revamp the whole idea. But we have career exploration webinars and showcasing a career with pre and post activities, for the students to do. And this was done through just like Zoom, but back then, if you remember, it used to be called Illuminate. It was a different platform idea. And at the end of the webinar, we used to have a professional come live, because it was like this one, a panelist, and he'll answer questions from the students, which is really neat. I'm going to show you a little piece of it, but here's some of the topics that we had, but just so you see, what it looked like. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to the next screen really. It's a little bit tricky, but okay, here it goes. Okay, where is it now? Okay. So here it is. Can you all see my next screen now? Okay, I cannot hear anybody, but if I see somebody saying yes, thank you. Okay, and it looks like a PowerPoint, but there was somebody live talking to the students there,
as well as some physical training, which would include ladder usage, hose layout, hazardous materials, extrication, breathing apparatus, and field-related activities. So it's a lot more physical training than the program.
Now I'm moving it forward.
Great. but there are some other options. Perhaps the firefighter option is, like I said, there are not that many job opportunities out there right now, although that's hope-filled perhaps. When I talked to Mr. Tom McBride, who's the director at the Fire Academy, that students sometimes finish EMT and they decide to switch gears.
Can I stop it? I just want you, at the end, there is a, you know, they give you how much money they can make, and then the professor come live to answer question. I was trying to get to the part, but here goes. Ask the expert. You can all invite somebody from your community or partners from the industry to your students. Okay, now I gotta print this. Okay, thank you. Now I'm gonna go to my other. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so that was here. Can you all see my PowerPoint? Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's what we did with that. And that's it from me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Christina, there is a question in the text. It's from Patrick. Patrick, job with the questions. Christina, can you talk or give a little more information about the company that come in to evaluate foreign transcripts? Do they help students obtain the equivalent here in order to enter post-secondary? Is that something specific to your college or to Florida?
No, not really. This was Joseph, I'm trying to find, Joseph Silney and Associates. They located in Miami. Let me see if I can show their information in case. Oh no, it's show backwards, right?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It can, yeah.
Okay, well, I contacted this company. I found their information, you know, online, and I gave them a call and I said, we're having a student summit and we, you know, have ESOL student, people who come from need their credentials evaluated, and they sent a speaker and brought a lot of information to give the students. And it's, yes, they evaluate or their high school credentials if they just want to go to post-secondary education, but also if they come and they already have a degree from their country, it could be evaluated as well. That's what that company does. And they don't charge anything. They came for free.
That's the best news of all. Christina, any other questions for Christina before we move on to our last panelist who has been chomping at the bit? She wanted to go right from the beginning. We had to hold her back. Oh, you ready to come on? Okay. Oh, Casey makes a point, everyone, in case you, the Joseph Silney does charge to evaluate, but they didn't charge to come to the school, right? Right?
Do charge to evaluate, but they came to the school to talk to the student for free.
And notice what Coral said as well, that it's adopted by the college to evaluate university degree transcripts also. So make sure you're watching that chat panel, everybody, because you're get a lot of good info on there. All right, so without Christina, applause as well. Let's go to Pamela Jo Wilson of Hit It, Pamela Jo.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Jamie, I don't know skills and anxious and everything. Unless we're talking opposite. What a pleasure to be working with such a great group of people on this project. My name is Jamieson, and I work with the Palm Beach County School District in Department of Adult and Community. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And by now you see the trend that we're all beautiful flowers, and the name of the flower in our garden here is the gladiola. We have the gladiola community of practice, where I had the pleasure of working with Tricia Baker Sherman of Pinellas County. She cannot be here today, unfortunately, but she represented well in helping me to prepare for this. I also wanted to give credit to our team from Pinellas and Palm Beach County. We're similar to Cindy in that we had a combination of people. We had 6 teachers from Pinellas County and 4 teachers from Palm Beach County: Adriana, Debbie, Inguna, Jennifer, Mildred and Tony are from Pinellas County, and I hope they're here on the seminar. And Brett, Carlin, Daisy, and Marissa are the a part of our local community of practice here in Palm Beach County. From this group, we took a look at the Links ESL Pro Module number 3, Preparing English Learners for Work and Career Pathways. You got a lot of rich content from the panelists that came before me. So I'm going real simple right now as I dive into this, because I'm taking it from the level of the teacher who's brand new to this and who's thinking to herself, I just got a handle on survival skills. What are you asking me to do? And you know, Jamie explained about WIOA. So contextualization is there's a shift in the meaning right now where we're trying now in our ESOL classroom to link the basic skills that were our students from the foundation level on up with job skills preparation. Coral and Christina, those were awesome demonstration and models of how we do that. We operated out of a platform where we did discussion prompts and went back and forth and shared ideas, shared what we were practicing, shared. We looked at the resources, as Jamie said earlier on, and looked at what would work for our population versus what would not work. So we had some really good feedback from our people from Pinellas as well as Palm Beach County, and this is how it looks on the 8-day platform, where we go in and have our own little Facebook time, so to speak, on there. Now, the activity that I got a lot of feedback from, Tricia and I got a lot of feedback from was the introduction activity on something that a lot of time when we're doing survival skills, we don't do. We don't really dive into the wealth of experience that our adult learners bring to adult education. So the activity that we took a look at and we had a discussion prompt on was based on a teacher who did an activity that called for their students to draw their first job. Draw pictures of their very first job. And from drawing of their first job, they then had to come up with vocabulary and come up to the front of the classroom and present something to their peers on what their first job entailed. This is great when we're talking about lower level students who may not have all of the writing skills as yet, but our discussion led us to some problems that will come up when we ask some population to draw. We had some lively discussion that said, you know, my students are not really excited about doing art. They're not drawing, they can't represent their drawing well. So as a teacher, another way to pull that background knowledge would be to use to pull in technology. We could either provide Google, one of the recommendations from our participant, provide Google pictures of different occupations and have the students identify the occupant that they identified with, that was their first job. The teacher could infuse digital literacy by teaching the student how to do the search and find, or depending on how much time she wants to spend, or you know how low level the students were, just actually go ahead and provide these pictures. So now we shift from requiring the student to draw to providing them with the tools that they could use to connect their background to what was going on in the classroom. Here is identify, being in communication with our student to see their comfort level. Now, we know we're going to have some teachers that say, well, okay, all of this is good and fine. I like this idea about employment, but I'm been pushed to do data-driven instruction. I'm being pushed to bring in the CASA's competencies. I'm being pushed to bring in the Florida Department of Education. How do we do that? Now, in talking about the activity that we just did, where we asked them to talk about their first job and hang on to that word first, because I'm going to come back to it in a little bit. We asked them to draw their first job or even identify it from pictures. Clearly, as you can see from just a few of the competencies that Tricia and I pulled from DOE and CASAS, we are still in compliance. We're still data-driven instruction. It's just that now what we're doing is contextualizing. We're linking those basic skills to job skills. So let's take a moment to find out, if you will, in the chat box, what sort of methods you use to access your students' work history in your lesson. If you're a teacher, what do you use to access your students' work history? I'll give you a minute to think about that, and then I'll keep going on. I told you to hang on a little bit to the word first, because this activity focused on the first work or the first job, because sometimes if you talk about a job, a student may just have been fired from a job, and it may not be a pleasant conversation. You all want to keep in mind how the student is feeling in your classroom. So you want to go back to their first job, which is normally a little bit more of a pleasant experience than just talking about any job. But that's a safe place to start to integrate into your classroom. A positive influence, we know the persistence, and all of us are pushing to make sure that our students stay in our classroom and last. A positive influence is relevance to instruction. Our goal in the past has been survival skills, survival skills, survival skills. Here are the content standards. Teach them how to survive. Well, now there's a shift with contextualization, in that we're not just teaching them to survive. We want to teach them how to thrive, which is why we're giving them the job skills from the get-go at the foundation level onwards. So a top influence of persistence is relevance. And one of the top reasons that our learners give for wanting to learn English when we interview in the surveys is for their employment skills. So we tie the two together in integrating using different activities and give relevant instruction in employment. Another takeaway that we had from working with this community of practice method and working together to bounce ideas off and bounce strategies off each other in the group is that the benefits of teacher group planning. We're taking on a huge task, and that's one of the things that we're walking away from our group as we're working together as teams. How wonderful it is to state an idea, look an idea, others come in and add to the ideas or take away from the ideas or give the cons even so you can see it. So we encourage teacher group planning in the process as well. This is what Tricia and I came up with for this meeting. Thank you very much. Please be sure to post your questions in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I saw that we had a few ideas come in for ways to ask about prior work history. Just a number of teachers talked about just asking individually, just asking them that application as a prompt for that. I put in mine, but I won't talk about it. But Madeline pointed out that when she was teaching in the advanced level, they had casually talked about who they are really and where they came from and breaking the ice and hearing from me. I think what you've pointed out so beautifully, Pamela Jo, is that all of the still falls under the umbrella of language development. That is our area of expertise. So that very important connection to ESOL. But what we're doing is motivating, as you so beautifully put it, by creating much more relevance to what the learners need outside when they walk outside. And what does that mean for the student who is retired, or the student who is taking care of children right now and not thinking about a job? Or all of this language, all of these concepts are very pertinent to populations. Retired people need to be able to work within their languages and work within businesses, so that is going to connect for them. The parent is going to need all of the material coming from the school. So we're not eliminating relevance by working with contextualization. We're actually building a greater relevance for our learners. And I see we have one new message. Let me see. And really, this is at the heart of the ESL Pro. And I don't know if my fellow panelists would agree on this, but to shift our culture. And Patrick's talking about that concept of it is a shift. You mentioned a shift. We're shifting to a more rigorous level of instruction because history is really going to demand that our learners have higher skill levels. But this is a tweak, it's not a reinvention. So I want to share my screen for a minute. Let's see if I can do this a little more smoothly than it was done earlier, and ask if there are any more questions out there. Let's go to actual slideshow. We're just about at the end of our session, but are there any questions coming up? And maybe my fellow panelists can answer them as well as I, if needed. Madeline, I absolutely agree with what you say. Its ultimate goal is to establish an environment of learning, but not only from a teacher, but from the experience each of those present have and can be shared. And Dan is talking about that's an opportunity for us to use volunteer tutors in conversational English development. Oh, that was about Pamela's idea about how to build on prior work experience. I want to point, Casey's mentioning the mindset, the shift in mindset, the growth mindset we're hearing so much about now. If we can really acknowledge that this is process, as you saw with this very webinar today, we are all in process and we're helping our teachers and ourselves as teachers. You know, we're learning this alongside of our students, and the more that we can work together, which is what these communities of practice have done so beautifully. And I would definitely applaud the trainers and their communities of practice. We did have a question. As Katie points out, 21 of the teachers were reluctant at first, but Christina points to a parallel when she says all the students headed off to the tour, maybe weren't quite focused on the tour, but once they were in it, they really, they recognized the relevance and got excited about it. So let me thank you all for your patience and your participation, not necessarily in that order. And is that before we close it down? Oh, apparently my internet connection is unstable. I'm going to unmute everybody. You go ahead and everybody say goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.